Did you know that African kings once ruled Egypt? For centuries, the dangerous myth has persisted, the idea that Africa had no significant civilizations before European contact. This false narrative has been used to justify colonialism, slavery, and the continued marginalization of African people. But today, we are shattering that myth with undeniable evidence of thriving, complex societies that not only existed but flourished long before European arrival. Get ready to rewrite your understanding of history. Our journey begins in ancient Nubia, in modern-day Sudan, with the kingdom of Kama. As early as 2500 BC, Kama was a sophisticated society. Archaeological evidence reveals organized city planning, impressive mud brick temples called defifas, and a robust economy driven by agriculture and trade. These weren't just simple villages, they were centers of power and culture. Moving forward in time, we encounter the kingdom of Kush. This powerful kingdom not only rivaled Egypt but actually conquered it. In 727 BC, Kushite rulers like King Pi marched north, sacking Memphis and establishing the 25th dynasty of Egypt. For over a century, Kushite pharaohs ruled Egypt, leaving their mark on its art, religion, and military strategies. Yet, their achievements have often been downplayed or erased in historical accounts. The kingdom of Kush eventually gave way to the Meroitic kingdom, another remarkable civilization in Sudan. From 300 BC to 350 CE, Meroe thrived as a major iron production center, exporting its goods across the Mediterranean. What many don't realize is, by 100 CE, Meroe was producing up to 5 tons of iron daily from hundreds of industrial sites. This fueled a vast trade network, supplying weapons and tools as far as India and Rome. Meroe also developed its own unique script, the Meroitic language, distinct from Egyptian hieroglyphs. Though only partially translated today, this script is a testament to their intellectual independence. We now journey south to Great Zimbabwe, a breathtaking example of African ingenuity. Built by the Bantu-speaking Shona people between the 11th and 15th centuries CE, Great Zimbabwe is a massive stone complex featuring towering walls constructed without mortar. These walls, some reaching 11 meters high and 250 meters long, enclosed an area of 720 hectares. At its peak, Great Zimbabwe was home to as many as 18,000 people and controlled vital gold trade routes to the Swahili coast. Soapstone birds, now national symbols of Zimbabwe, were carved as royal insignia. Further west, the Mali Empire emerged in the 13th century. Founded by Sandiata Keita in 1235 CE after the Battle of Kerina, the Mali Empire encompassed a vast territory in West Africa, uniting diverse ethnic groups through conquest and trade. These are just a few examples of the many vibrant civilizations that flourished in Africa before European colonization. Iron smelting in Africa, for instance, began around 1000 BC in places like Meroe, predating its widespread adoption in Europe. So why does the myth of a civilization-less Africa persist? Its roots lie in 19th century European scholarship, particularly the writings of figures like Hegel, who claimed that Africa was outside history. These ideas were used to justify the scramble for Africa, the partitioning of the continent among European powers. By denying Africans a history, colonizers sought to strip them of their dignity and justify their exploitation. The impact of this historical erasure continues to be felt today. The borders of many modern African nations were drawn by European powers at the Berlin Conference of 1884 to 1885, ignoring existing cultural and political boundaries. The legacies of pre-colonial empires, such as Kush and Meroe, are still present in Sudanese identity. The pyramids of Meroe, more numerous than those in Giza, attract tens of thousands of tourists each year. Great Zimbabwe continues to inspire national pride in Zimbabwe, with its soapstone bird emblem adorning the nation's flag. However, it's important to acknowledge the complexities of African history. While celebrating the achievements of pre-colonial civilizations, we must also recognize instances of internal conflict and colonization, such as the expansion of the Mali Empire and the Fulani jihads. Furthermore, the narrative of pre-colonial Africa often overlooks earlier colonizations, such as Roman Egypt and Ottoman North Africa. Even the term post-colonial is contested, with some arguing that European legacies continue to dominate the continent. It's also crucial to address how evidence of advanced African societies was actively suppressed by colonial powers. For example, early European explorers attributed Great Zimbabwe to Phoenicians or Arabs, refusing to believe that it could have been built by indigenous Africans. It wasn't until the archaeological work of Gertrude Cotton Thompson in 1929 that the true origins of Great Zimbabwe were confirmed. While acknowledging the achievements of diverse African civilizations, we must be cautious of Afrocentric narratives that promote therapeutic mythology by ignoring Egypt's multiethnic population and African slavery contexts. Recovering and celebrating Africa's rich pre-colonial history is essential for challenging harmful stereotypes and fostering a more accurate understanding of the continent's place in the world. The evidence is clear: Africa was not a blank slate before European contact. It was a continent of innovation, trade, and complex societies that shaped the course of history. By acknowledging this truth, we can begin to dismantle the legacy of colonialism and build a more just and equitable future. The story of Africa is still being written, and it's time to ensure that all voices are heard. The narrative that Africa had no history before colonization is not just inaccurate, it's a deliberate distortion of reality. From the pyramids of Meroe to the walls of Great Zimbabwe, the evidence of Africa's rich and complex past is all around us. It's time we all acknowledge it.